Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into the wild world of overseas direct investment, or ODI, in India. Think of it like this. You've got some extra cash and you're like, bro, I need to make this money work harder than an intern during appraisal season. So you start looking at businesses overseas because let's face it, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? But before you start throwing your money at every foreign startup with a fancy pitch deck, we need to talk about the rules. Yeah, I know, rules are boring. But trust me, when it comes to ODI, the last thing you want is to get on the wrong side of the RBI. They'll be on you faster than a deli auntie at a wedding buffet. So, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, stick around. Because we're going to break down everything you need to know about ODI in India. We're talking about the different routes for investment, the players involved, what you can and can't do, and of course the paperwork. Because what's life without a little bit of bureaucratic fun, right? Alright folks, let's kick things off with the basics. When it comes to investing in foreign companies, you've got two main options, or as we like to call them, routes. First up, we've got the automatic route, which is like the expressway of ODI. No need to wait for permissions, you just hop on and zoom through. Well, almost. You still need to meet certain conditions, but we'll get into those later. Now, if your investment doesn't quite fit the criteria for the automatic route, don't worry, you've still got the approval route. Think of this as the scenic route. It might take a bit longer, but hey, at least you get to enjoy the view. Basically, with the approval route, you need to get the green light from the RBI before you can proceed. They'll scrutinize your investment plan like a hawk, so make sure your paperwork is cleaner than a whistle. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tanmay bro, why two routes? Why not just make it one simple process? And to that I say, my friend, if only life were that simple. So, you're all fired up about investing overseas, but hold your horses, cowboy. Not everyone can just waltz into the world of ODI. There are some ground rules about who's eligible to play this game. First up, we've got your Indian companies, the big players in the market. Think of them as the sharks in the ODI ocean. Then we have the registered partnerships and LLPs, the smaller fish trying to make their mark. And finally, we've got our resident individuals, the average Joes and Janvis looking to dip their toes into the international investment pool. Now, when it comes to individuals, there's a bit of a catch. You can't just go throwing around your entire life savings like it's nothing. The RBI has this thing called the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, or LRS, which basically sets a limit on how much you can invest overseas each year. Think of it as your ODI allowance. And right now, that limit is $250,000. So if you're a high roller with more money than you know what to do with, you might need to find other avenues for your investment adventures. But hey, 250 grand is still a decent chunk of change. That's like enough to buy a small island in the Pacific. Okay, maybe not an island, but you get the idea. Alright, let's talk about the moolah. You've got the green light, you're eligible to invest, but how do you actually hand over your hard-earned cash? Well, my friend, when it comes to ODI, you've got options. Think of it like a buffet of investment instruments, each more delicious than the last. First up, we've got the classic equity shares. You know, the bread and butter of the stock market. You buy a piece of the company, become a part owner, and hopefully watch your investment grow faster than your Instagram follower count. Then we have the convertible preference shares, which are like the fancy cocktails of the investment world. They might cost you a bit more, but they come with some added perks. And finally, we've got loans and guarantees. This is where you basically become the bank, lending money to a foreign entity with the hope of getting it back with some sweet interest. Now, the type of instrument you choose will depend on your risk appetite, your investment goals, and of course your astrologer's advice. But hey, that's a topic for another video. Now, before you go on an international investment spree, let's talk about what you can't do. Because as much as we love a good time, the RBI is not here to play games. First and foremost, no shady business. ODI is strictly prohibited in sectors like real estate, gambling, and lottery. Basically, anything that screams high risk, high reward is a big no-no. And for all you aspiring bankers out there, setting up a bank overseas is also off limits without special approval. So, unless you've got the RBI eating out of your hand, it's best to stick to the permissible sectors. Oh, and one more thing, shell companies? Yeah, those are a big no-no too. The RBI can sniff out a fake business from a mile away, so don't even try to pull a fast one on them. They've got more eyes than Argus Panoptis, and trust me, you don't want to mess with those guys. Alright folks, we're almost at the finish line. But before you pop the champagne and celebrate your newfound global investment portfolio, there's one last thing we need to talk about: paperwork. I know it's everyone's favorite topic, but trust me, when it comes to ODI, keeping the RBI in the loop is crucial. Think of it like this: you're basically borrowing their money to invest overseas, so the least you can do is send them a postcard every now and then. So, how do you keep the RBI happy? Well, every time you make an ODI transaction, you need to report it to them using a fancy little form called Form FC. It's like a love letter to the RBI, filled with all the juicy details of your investment. And to make sure you're not just throwing your money into a black hole, you also need to submit an annual performance report, APR. This is where you tell the RBI how your foreign investment is doing, whether it's making money, losing money, or just chilling like a villain in a Bollywood movie. That's a wrap on ODI in India. Hopefully you're feeling a little less clueless and a lot more confident about navigating the world of overseas investment. Remember, the key is to do your research, understand the rules, and keep it with the RBI. Now go forth and conquer the global market. If you have any questions or need more details, drop them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this rollercoaster ride through the world of ODI, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative content. See you next time.